Did you feel that silence? It was me, screaming without sound. My soul whispered your name. Did you hear it? I begged the universe for you. It gave me silence. The message was urgent. I still ache where you left. I spoke in pain. You listened in ego. My heart broke louder than my words ever did. You missed the message because it didn't flatter you. I said, stay in every way except words. I wasn't quiet. I was exhausted from not being heard. You heard what you feared, not what I meant. If silence had subtitles, you'd be haunted. I wasn't distant. I was drowning. I prayed for you, not knowing you were the storm. Did you hear the crack when I stopped hoping? I screamed with my eyes. You blinked. You asked what changed. You stopped listening. The urgent message. I was never fine. I loved you louder than you'll ever understand. I sent signs. You called them drama. Every tear was a message. You scrolled past it. The angels begged me to let you go. I cried in silence because words betrayed me. I whispered forever. You echoed maybe. Your absence is louder than your love ever was. I didn't leave. I was left unheard. You heard the words, but missed the heartbreak. I stayed longer than my soul could afford. The universe warned me. I called it love. My heart knocked. You changed the locks. You said, speak to me. I already had. I spoke softly because I thought you'd listen harder. The message was urgent. I was disappearing. You called it overreacting. I called it drowning. You heard noise. I was saying goodbye. You lost me while I was still standing there. My silence wasn't peace. It was a funeral. I needed you, not your excuses. The angels screamed his name before I did. I wrote a love letter in every touch. You ignored my soul to chase your comfort. I texted from the edge. You left me on red. You won the argument. I lost myself. If love had subtitles, you'd weep. My hands reached for you. Yours reached for blame. The goodbye wasn't in words. It was in my eyes. I showed up, bleeding. You offered silence. I begged gently. You punished me for it. I was soft where you were cruel. You asked for space. I gave you forever. I wanted answers. You gave me echoes. The truth? I still wait for a reply that won't come. You didn't lose me. You left me behind. The pain wasn't new. You just noticed it late. My wounds spoke. You corrected my tone. You love the idea of me, not the war in me. I became fluent in silence to survive you. You fed your pride while I starved for love. My goodbye wasn't loud, it was final. You were everything until I listened to the ache. I was your mirror, not your home. You watched me unravel and called it mood swings. I gave peace, you gave confusion. You chased peace. I bled it. I spelled love in pain. You needed it prettier. I hoped you'd hear my shaking hands. I was yelling through kindness. You lost me in the pauses. I was urgent. You were comfortable. The truth still knocks on your guilt. I waited in storms you promised would pass. You mistook survival for strength. I gave warnings wrapped in forgiveness. I held space for you. You filled it with absence. I lit myself to warm you. You blamed the fire. My love was medicine. You craved poison. I didn't stop loving you. I stopped begging. You treated my honesty as an inconvenience. I was loud in all the ways you refused to hear. You asked why I left. Go reread my silence. The message was urgent. I'm not coming back. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. I warned you with softness. You needed lightning. I was breaking in plain sight. You heard my pain as pressure. I wanted love. You wanted control. You gave less. I kept giving more. You asked me to wait while you disappeared. I told the stars about you. They warned me. You didn't forget me. You just never remembered deeply. I showed my scars. You walked away. The urgent message. I'm not healing for you anymore. You knew how I loved. You still risked it. I was pleading in presence. I cracked for you. You called it drama. You saw effort. You wanted perfection. I gave truth. You wanted silence. I told the truth. You punished the tone. You loved my light, but never held my darkness. I was honest. You were careful. I brought soul. You brought ego. I was loyal. You were passing time. You held my heart and never realized it was breaking. I loved you in a way you never understood. I didn't leave. I just stopped staying. I was your lesson, not your lover. You left me with questions you'll never answer. You never saw me, only the idea of me. My love wasn't a contract. It was a sacrifice. You wanted my devotion, but couldn't handle my truth. I kept choosing you, even when you didn't choose me. My silence wasn't peace. It was exhaustion. You left pieces of my heart behind, and now it's shattered. I thought you loved me until you stopped listening. You were always the calm in my storm until you walked away. You were my escape, but now you're my prison. I let you in, you let me down. The message was urgent. I needed you to care. You don't lose what you never had. I loved you as if you were my last hope. I gave everything, but you wanted more than I could give. I was the mirror you never wanted to look into. I wanted a partner, not a ghost. You hurt me more with your silence than your words ever did. I stayed when you walked away, hoping you'd look back. You promised forever, but never learned what it meant. I was trying to save us while you were fading away. You asked for loyalty, but couldn't give it. You broke my heart, then expected me to fix it. I was waiting for a love that was never coming back. You misunderstood my patience for weakness. You thought I was strong until I showed you my scars. I gave you my soul. You gave me empty promises. I stayed for you. You stayed for the comfort of knowing I would. I wasn't asking for your love. I was begging for your presence. You heard my cries, but chose to ignore them. I whispered, I love you, to a ghost. I didn't give up on you. I gave up on us. You lost me in your silence, not your actions. You took my heart, then buried it with excuses. I waited for the apology that never came. You never learned that love requires listening, not just receiving. I let you go, but I never let you out of my heart. You said forever, but never understood the weight of it. My love wasn't a burden. It was a gift. You wanted love, but couldn't hold the chaos of it. I gave you pieces of me you never valued. You wanted me to heal, but didn't want to help the wound. I saw you in my dreams, but you were never in my reality. I wanted all of you. You gave me nothing but emptiness. I was your favorite, but never your priority. You didn't hear me when I begged you to stay. I didn't want to leave. I just couldn't stay. You expected me to be strong while you broke me. I loved you with everything. You loved me with nothing. The truth was buried in my silence. I needed your heart. You gave me your absence. My love was sacred. You treated it like a game. You never understood how much I was breaking inside. You gave me promises, and I gave you loyalty. I stopped fighting for you because I was fighting for myself. You never saw me until I stopped showing up. I loved you in a way that scarred me. I didn't need you to fix me. I needed you to listen. I told you the truth, but you chose to ignore it. I stayed because I thought you were worth the fight. You pushed me away, then wondered why I walked out. You saw my tears, but not the pain behind them. I was your escape until you became mine. You left me in the storm, then blamed me for the rain. I was never your second choice until you made me one. You thought my heart was an option, not a home. I never left you. You left me in pieces. I didn't need your love. I needed your respect. I didn't beg you to stay. I begged you to care. You never saw the battles I fought for us. You made me believe love was worth the fight. You wanted forever, but couldn't commit to today. I loved you in a way that only broke me. You wanted me to change, but never saw your own flaws. I felt your absence before you even left. I loved you without limits. You loved me with conditions. I stayed too long in a place I didn't belong. You were the storm, and I was just trying to find shelter. My love was never enough for you to stay. You said forever, but couldn't handle the present. I learned to live with your absence before you even left. You never saw how much you were hurting me. I gave you pieces of me you never wanted. You thought love was a game, but I was playing for my heart. I stayed because I thought you'd change, but you never did. You left scars, and now they're all I have of you. You whispered forever, then never followed through. I thought I needed you, but I needed myself more. You left a void, and I filled it with silence. I stopped fighting for you. You never noticed. My love was unconditional. Yours was conditional. I gave you everything I had. You gave me your absence. You promised the world, then showed me nothing. I loved you in a way that made me lose myself. I held on too long, hoping you'd hold me back.